Hello and welcome to another session of Sqoop. So this is the output file that got generated into the HDFS layer when we imported the data. Now if you can see here, all the fields are separated by comma, and this is something that we have discussed earlier as well. When you import the data, by default you are basically importing the data into a CSV format, right? Comma separated format. Now this can be changed. If we want to change the delimiter, we can do that. For that we have to make a simple change. So this is the import statement that we have been using. Now this import statement will import the data into a CSV format in the specified target location. So let me change the target location for once. I will say customer pipe, right? So here what change we have to do is we have to use something called as right here, or we have to use fields terminated by. So when you say fields terminated by, this means that all your fields, or that is your columns, need to be terminated or need to be separated by the delimiter that you specify here. So I will go with pipe. So this way I am telling this sqoop command to make sure that my fields are terminated or my columns are separated by pipe instead of comma. Okay, and then how should my lines be terminated? My lines should be terminated by new line, which is slash. Very simple, right? So this is a simple change that we have to do. So if you execute this, the data would be generated and will be available in the specified location. And now this time, instead of the comma separated file, you should see a pipe separated file. So let's go ahead and check this data. This is a new folder we have created. It should have two files. So let me go ahead and check this file. You see all the data is separated by pipe instead of your normal comma. So let's also check the other file. It should also have the pipe delimiter. Yes. So this is how you can change the delimiter, import delimiter. Okay, so now this is fine, right? Now let's say before you import something, you want to actually check how the data is. You just want to print the data to see how the data is. Now one way to do this is you can basically go to this MySQL. You can do a simple select query. That way you are going to check, you're going to see the data, right? But what if you don't have direct access to MySQL? You have just Sqoop, but you don't have the MS SQL, let's just say. So in that case, you can actually connect to MySQL from Sqoop using Sqoop Eval. So I will say Sqoop Eval. Then I have to give the connect identifiers. Again, this is normal JDBC, something that we have been doing. So let me quickly write it down. Okay, now here you specify the simple query. So whatever query you want to execute on a MySQL, you just execute here. So when you do a query here, what will happen is using eval, because the Sqoop will connect to the MySQL database, it will get this data and it will display this data on the screen here. Right, so this is the data. So the same data that you can get when you query the MySQL database. So why is it useful? Because sometimes, as I mentioned, if you want to just check how the data is before you import, you just do a Sqoop eval, and that is if you do not have access to MySQL. And sometimes even if you have access to MySQL, you may not want to open some command line prompt, or you have to open something else, the front end tool. So instead of opening them, you just use a Sqoop eval and just get the data right here, right? So that will be easier. So this is the usefulness of Sqoop eval. So this is what I wanted to cover. I hope you are clear. Small topics, how we have to import these data from another delimiter into another delimiter, and then how we can display this data using Sqoop Eval. I hope this was clear, and I'll see you guys in the next class.